The city of Charlotte in a buzz about their Panthers. Captain America Luke Kuechly and Superman Cam Newton, two heroes ready to turn things around. These are the 2015 Carolina Panthers. In Chicago, the fans live for Smash Mouth football. From Iron Mike's legendary defense to the sweet runs of Walter Payton, these are the 1985 Chicago Bears. Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. Welcome to the NFC Divisional Playoffs, where today we have a fantastic matchup. The winner to San Francisco, it is the Carolina Panthers and the 1985 Chicago Bears. A fantastic football game today, and to break it down, I am Nick Rice, joined by Hank Cinnamon, one of the legendary defenses in NFL history, the 85 Bears, and an upstart Cinderella football team in the 15 Panthers. The divisional playoffs are underway. Whitaker from the 2 with a convoy to the 20. And Fozzie Whitaker returns with a flag down to about the 27, but this one might be coming back.
Great game last week by the Panthers, beating the Packers at home in a game they had to come back in so that they could come here to Soldier Field in order to play the 85 Bears. Let's see what these two teams have.
A legendary second half comeback. Newton throws one of the worst passes we've seen in his career. And Mike Singletary recovers. I don't know what he was thinking on that play.
I think he saw whatever Aaron Brooks did in that one game he played and just threw the ball backwards. I think that was his inspiration there. Easy return for the Bears, getting the ball on offense.
From the go to that comeback to the go to the start of this one, just a brutal decision. And then McMahon is picked off by Luke Kuechly. We certainly hope the game isn't entirely like this. What a horrendous start for the two quarterbacks.
Well, it was looking really good for the Bears, getting the fumble deep in Panthers territory, but Luke Kuechly had other ideas for that as he got the interception. Great play for the Panthers.
The 15 Panthers lost Super Bowl 50 to Denver, but that was the end of an otherwise brilliant season led by the 85 Bears starting linebacker, head coach of Carolina, Ron Rivera. The Panthers went 15-1, dominated the playoffs, and then met their match, Von Miller, the MVP, and Peyton Manning in his swan song in Super Bowl 50. And while they lost the game, for fans that know of just how good this team was, they're unheralded, but they were very, very good in that 2015 campaign. On a third down, Newton throws to Cotchery, who's short of the marker. The Panthers go 3-and-out here.
So it's really good for the Panthers that they didn't end up giving up any points on the last drive, and it seems like a positive for the Bears because they didn't allow the Panthers to get any points on them. Seems like more of a loss for the Bears because they definitely could have gotten at least a field goal on that drive. But big ups to Luke Kuechly getting that interception. Let's see if the Panthers defense has more in store for the Bears offense.
Well, that was a drive that didn't end with a turnover, so that's got to be an accomplishment at the very least for the quarterbacks. Now for the 85 Bears, a calming force is behind the quarterback, Walter Payton, arguably the best runner in NFL history, certainly the best in the greatest team season. Allen wraps him up after a short gain. If Walter Payton gets things going, the Panthers, it would certainly seem they have no chance. On a third down, he's the deep back. McMahon hands it to him off left tackle, and Payton breaks into the secondary. Down to the 40-yard line, Payton strikes early. Kurt Coleman makes the stop.
Very surprising how on that first drive, the Bears were so content to just pass the ball with Jim McMahon, who wasn't the strength of their offense. It was their running game was really their strength. And now we're seeing the fruits of Walter Payton.
On a first down, McMahon throws, and that pass falls incomplete. Carolina certainly looked poised to try and stop the deep pass on that one, despite Chicago and Carolina being first and third, respectively, in rushing attempts I mean, these two teams were run-heavy, smash-mouth football teams where they'd come out to the air early, and Moorhead makes the catch, 13 and a first down.
I mean, who could blame these two teams for being such good running football teams when you've got Sweetness, Walter Payton, and the Piano Man on the Panthers, and Cam Newton, who can run as well.
And Cam Newton was among the best scramblers this year, one of the best all time, and it would help them win 2015 MVP honors. But make no mistake, this is a Cinderella run for Carolina. They go into Chicago as massive underdogs to one of the best teams of all time. McMahon fires a slant to McKinnon, and he's got the first down on a gain of 12.
Seems like Jim McMahon is getting his momentum. Was doing very poor at the very beginning, going 0-2 passing. Now he's been completing most of his passes, and his team has been helping him.
And Gentry gains a yard on that run. The 85 Bears come in 11-5, one of the two teams to earn a first-round bye in the greatest teams playoffs. Winner to the title game to face the 89 Niners. Peyton on the pitch is down to the 8-yard line. And if the Bears are to advance, that would set up a critical NFC title game against a team they played early this year in one of the best games of the season. Carolina hasn't played the 49ers this year. Thomas draws an Ely face mask. That should be a fresh set of downs.
Very demoralizing for a defense when you've got the ball carrier stopped in the backfield and you just get too handsy in the face. And now they've got new downs to work with here, first down and goal. Very demoralizing.
They'll go with Matt Suhi, the fullback, who powers towards the end zone. The officials will talk about it, and they say no. He is just short of the goal line. It's second down.
Seemed like his knee might have been down when the ball crossed the goal line, so no call for the touchdown. Seems like a good one.
Gentry off the right side is in for the touchdown. No debate about that. And Chicago with a sensational drive. They go smash mouth football. Not a bad idea. Peyton did the dirty work. And then Gentry powers in for the score.
That's this team's mentality. Running the football to possibly set up the pass, or just run the football and then hope your defense can make stops if you're unable to convert. This is a ground and pound football team. That's their nature.
That was quite the hit delivered by Marshall on the return from Whitaker. But Carolina's the same way too. Their identity is rushing the football, playing strong defense, and winning the turnover battle. It seems these two are mirror images of each other. Brown on the outside has first down yardage. That is the opening first down for the visiting Panthers.
I would agree with you, but I would say that Cam Newton is definitely the better quarterback in terms of passing than Jim McMahon. McMahon did have a big arm, but I feel like Cam Newton had more of the intangibles that would make you a number one draft pick and an MVP candidate.
It is amazing that both guys had basically the same length of career, which I think speaks more to Newton than it does to McMahon, and that he had so much talent, but it's amazing that he didn't make the most of it. The first quarter comes to a close, and as we look at the numbers, his Panthers offense off to a poor start.
Agreed. And that a lot of that has to do with the Bears defense making a big stop against them, and the fact that their defense caused the Bears to gain more downs with that face mask penalty.
Yeah, that was huge. Newton off the play fake, fires to Cotchery, who's right around the first down marker. No chain measurement either. They say he's short, and the Panthers will punt.
That play faked out the camera. It was looking like the back was going to be stopped in the backfield, and Cam Newton kind of just ran that play action, Cotchery over the middle, and a really bad punt. The Bears will be set up in good field position.
Well, you couldn't have asked for a better start for Chicago since the early Jim McMahon turnover. And Walter Payton, it seems, is getting things going. He lines up as the deep back on second down. They'll feed it to him, and Payton is stopped by Davis at the 41. Walter Payton comes in with numbers that, video game numbers, blow everyone else out of the water, even in the greatest team season. 1,560 yards rushing. He makes the catch out of the backfield, and Kuechly drags him down, but it looks like Payton got it. They'll bring in the chain gang to measure this one.
Yeah, it seems like Walter Payton has BTFL numbers.
That's right.
In terms of running, and looks like on that screen pass, he did a great job powering through to get the first down for his team to get more downs to work with.
No matter what league you put him in, Sweetness was the best running back in football and an incredible compliment to the Bears defense. A short gain, and that makes this team so unstoppable when you have a defense shutting you down and then a running game chewing the clock and keeping the offense off the field. That was a 1-2 punch where it seemed it didn't matter who they had at quarterback as McKinnon grabs the McMahon pass and has a first down.
McKinnon was left wide open with the cornerbacks blitzing and the linebackers going to cover the sidelines. It just left him wide open in the middle of the field.
Certainly not a good idea. McKinnon, a home run threat every time he catches the ball. The Bears have played keep away against Carolina. That certainly is going to cause some concern for Newton and company whenever they take the field. First down again. Here's Moorhead to the 17, where Coleman and Tillman combine for the tackle.
I would agree with you, but the same thing happened against the Packers. Sure, they were at home, and sure, the Bears have a better team, but you can't count them out.
Yeah, Carolina outscored Green Bay 21-0 in the second half of that game, and a brutal Brett Favre fumble was the spark plug of that incredible comeback to put him here. A check down to Payton, who gets right by A.J. Klein for the first down. What a move, what a play. First and goal, Chicago.
That's just Sweetness using his power and momentum after catching the ball. No one wants to tackle him there.
Nobody wants to tackle Suhi. It takes a gang of Panthers to drag him down. The 245-pound fullback sets up second and goal. 2 minutes to go. NFC Divisional playoffs. Chicago, a field day early on offense. They go ground with Payton. He is denied again. Ely with the tackle.
The best thing that can happen for the Panthers right now is to allow a field goal. If you allow a touchdown, that'll make it so much harder for you to win.
Well, too bad for the Panthers. Walter Payton with the touchdown, his 18th rushing touchdown of the season, and that was almost too easy for Sweetness.
Yeah, the Panthers overloaded one side, and it's one of those situations where you're like, I wonder which way I'm going to go. Well, it's going to be where nobody is, or where the smaller guys are. So now the Panthers are going to be out of their element. They're going to be forced to pass, and that will allow the Bears to just tee off on Cam Newton if they need to.
Ginn to the 40-yard line, and while Newton and the Panthers have plenty of time, that defense, as mentioned, will be raring up to rush Newton, and they've got a minute and 39 seconds to respond. Newton against that blitz, stands in. He'll run it. First carry of the day for Newton, and he slides to the 47. Second down and 3 yards to go.
Good job by Newton being safe, and good job to them doing a no-huddle offense here.
Newton guns it. Deep to Ginn. He's down the sideline. Stiff arm to the 20. Ted Ginn. Touchdown, Carolina.
That's just something that you can't do as a defense. I know Ted Ginn Jr. is very difficult to tackle, but you're the 85 Bears. You got to make sure you make that tackle and show your dominance. This was definitely a play that they couldn't have made. Luckily, they have a 7-point lead, but they weren't very dominant there.
That's for sure. Newton the run, and then Ginn the touchdown to cap a two-play 60-yard drive. But the Bears will have another crack at it following Ted Ginn's longest reception of the year, and it's against this incredible defense. Chicago was the best defense in the greatest team season. 109 left. All three timeouts. What's the game plan here, Hank?
The game plan is to gun deep. Make sure you're the last one who has the ball.
Certainly not a bad idea. Payton gains a couple. Luke Kuechly, the best run stopper in the league, brings him down. Timeout Chicago, and maybe this is the chance they take a deep shot.
Yeah, they definitely have two receivers in McKinnon and Galt who can go deep. I'm surprised McMahon hasn't really gone to Galt yet.
Willie Galt, the best receiver on the team with 41 catches this year. Peyton on a couple of runs, and the Bears use timeouts. They'll go run again, and Peyton is denied. Now Carolina uses a timeout. Shaq Thompson with the tackle.
Yep, that's not very smart using your timeouts when you're just going to run the football. You should either do one or the other, especially if you weren't really going to do anything. Don't burn those timeouts. Force Carolina to burn their timeouts so that they won't have as many while they're trying to drive down the field. You've given them an opportunity with that.
And this is right where Carolina shined last week. Newton to Ginn, who had a first down but dropped it. He was pretty well covered by Richardson that time.
Hey, but you still got to catch the ball. I know that you might be looking in the defensive backfield. You might get hit, but seems like got that touchdown. He had the momentum, and he dropped it there.
This time he'll find Funchess, his first catch, and he has a shoe out on a 13-yard gain. The Bears defense got off to such a brilliant start. We saw the takeaway from Singletary on the game's first play, and they had been very good since until that last Ginn catch. He makes the grab here and steps out of the 44. The Panthers look much more comfortable on offense in this second quarter.
Cam's got to be careful there. That pass was very close to being intercepted, but he got lucky there.
Newton on first down, throws into traffic again, but Cotchery makes the catch. Timeout, Ron Rivera on a 25-yard pass play.
These are precise passes by Cam Newton. There's a reason why he was the MVP in 2015, and it's passes like those to receivers who, weren't the most talented receivers, but still got recognition because they helped Cam Newton out.
Newton to Cotchery for the touchdown. That'll help him out a bunch. Carolina scores twice in just over a minute. This is some comeback by the Cinderella Panthers.
And that's why, as the Bears, you shouldn't have been burning timeouts while just running the ball. You should have been trying to get the ball down the field. It's not their bread and butter, but at least you're trying to gain some points. Carolina doing you a solid by allowing you to have the ball with a little less than 2 minutes.
A flag down in the area of holding. Here's the call.
Holding on the receiving team.
This one on Dennis Gentry, and it's just amazing to think the Bears had a 14-0 lead with a chance to really take the heart out of the soul of this defense. And then they give up the long score again, the poor clock management, and now we go into the half in a brand new ball game. This has got to be disheartening for the favored Chicago Bears. We played 2 quarters, a good one from Soldier Field as the 15 Panthers mount the incredible comeback, and we are tied at 14. Winner to Candlestick for the NFC Championship. We've got a good one so far. And Gano sends it away to begin the second half. Nick Rice, Hank Cinnamon, 26 degrees from Soldier Field, a classic January football game out of the NFC Divisional round. Let's check out the numbers through 2 quarters. Really, it's about an evenly matched game offensively, 14-14, a tale of 2 quarters as Carolina mounts the comeback.
Very interesting that Carolina only has 8 rushing yards, basically off of the legs of Cam Newton. He's been gunning the ball, and the Bears have just been allowing receivers to either be open or catch tough passes.
McMahon completes his 8th consecutive pass. That was a tough one, too. 3rd one to McKinnon, and that's near a first down. Full house, and they'll go run with a flag down. This might be another hold on the Bears.
Yeah, this Bears offense has not been doing their running game a solid, especially with 2 penalties in the last 3 plays. You can't do that if you want to win football games, especially at home. That's an obvious hold by Gentry.
for the Bears. They have really been a shell themselves after the 14-0 lead. They went 3 and out on their last drive. Here's Peyton, who breaks a tackle and is decked to the 30. Luke Kuechly with 4 tackles today for Carolina. The Bears in the first half were 4 for 5 on third down, but a lowly 39% in the regular season. They'll try and convert this. McMahon hit as he throws, finds Markstrom for the first down, gain of 17.
That was a great job by the Bears, and Markstrom playing in the zone, flashing in front of his quarterback and catching the ball. It's a great open target on a third down, which is bad for the Carolina defense.
McMahon deep ball into traffic, and Galt has got it. The receivers are making huge plays on this critical third quarter drive.
Not much you could do about that if you're a cornerback. It's perfectly played. It's just Galt did more on that one to catch that over Josh Norman's head.
Willie Galt was a home run threat all year and makes a big play to continue this brilliant Chicago drive. Peyton with a head of steam, 1 to beat at the 10, and Peyton is in, but it looks like he stepped out short of the end zone. Another brilliant run from Sweetness, and here is his fingerprint on this football game.
Yeah, does a great job along the outside, goes by a defender, pushes by him, steps out around the 1-2 yard line. There's nothing you could do about that. Great defense by the guy who put him out, though.
McMahon airmails that pass to Galt. No chance for him to stay in. 3:11 left to go in the third. For those of you just joining us, Nick Rice, Hank Cinnamon, winner to the conference championship. 85 Bears trying to power in for the lead, but Gentry is denied by Kuechly. And this red zone defense will have a chance to buckle down here. Kuechly, a future Hall of Fame linebacker, makes the play.
If Carolina wins this game, you got to make Luke Kuechly the player of the game.
There's Davis with a big play too. And his defense has been brilliant today in important spots in the red zone. And here comes the field goal from Butler for the lead. But Chicago's got to be very certainly frustrated, but also very concerned that they're only up a field goal too. Here's Ginn, who brings it back to the 34.
The hero of this drive for the Panthers was whoever knocked Walter Payton out of bounds. Because if he's not there, he goes straight into the end zone, and it's at least 20-14.
Dave Durison knocks that one away. It was Trey Boston who shoved him out. But Walter Payton, statistically, 16 for 77. He's looked very good today statistically, but hasn't made quite the impact that we've seen in other games. Still very productive. Cotchery, meanwhile, almost out-dueling the likes of Walter Payton. He's been brilliant, too, and this passing game has really opened up in the second half.
Yeah, Payton has had just a few bursts, which you might think would be good if you were up 17-0, but not here.
Harry swallows up the piano man. Meanwhile, it's very clear who's winning the running back battle today. Stewart has been a no-show for Carolina. The Pro Bowler at just under 1,000 yards in the regular season. He'll get the call again, and no chance. Taken down by Wilson at the line of scrimmage.
This is where I think that since you've taken Jonathan Stewart they've taken Jonathan Stewart out of the game, the Panthers really have to think about passing the ball more.
They'll do it here. Deep ball to Brown. He had a first down, but Durison knocks it away. Great coverage from the Pro Bowler out of Notre Dame. Fourth down.
When the ball is in your hands, which is the way it was, you've got to make sure you secure that catch and help out your quarterback. Because at this point, the pass is all the Panthers have with their ineffective running game.
Right. In 2015, Cam Newton had an MVP season, of course, but his numbers could have been way better if he had a dominant receiving core. He had Brown, Funchess, Cotchery, guys that aren't household names as Kuechly makes an impressive open field stop. Guys that aren't superstar receivers, but he still put up incredible numbers. Peyton put up great numbers, too, for the Bears.
Imagine him having a Steve Smith and a Musha Muhammad like Jake Delhomme did. Man, that would have made for an incredible offense.
And maybe that's what made Newton such a short-lived player in the Carolina lore. Walter Payton nearing 100 yards now. For that season, he was MVP with 35 touchdown passes. Another near dozen on the ground, too. Just an incredible year. First down, a check down to Moorhead, and the tight end gains 5.
Well, I think the other thing was the fact that the injuries caught up with Cam Newton. He played a very dangerous game sometimes, and I think mentally he kind of checked out, which we see with quarterbacks too.
McMahon picked off by the former Bear. This is Peanut Tillman all the way for the touchdown.
This is exactly what the Panthers did to the Packers. Once the Packers started turning the ball over with that Brett Favre fumble, it was over for them. And it's got to be completely demoralizing for Chicago having the lead that they did and giving it up like this. Man, you can't be too happy with yourself after throwing that pass.
Over the final 12 minutes of the game against Green Bay and the last 7 in this one against Chicago, the Panthers have outscored their playoff opponents 42-3. I mean, when they flip a switch, it seems neither the Packers or the Bears have any answer at all. In the third quarter, the heavily favored 85 Chicago Bears, they'll go run with Peyton, who gains a couple. Kawan Short makes his third tackle of the game.
You see, when you have a lead like that, you got to lean on your running game. Peyton has at least been playing decently, but when you make horrible passes like that, it's just bad for your offense, bad for your overall morale.
We go into the fourth quarter. The Bears shot with the morale, but still in the ball game, having outgained the Panthers with 7 more first downs. Statistically, Chicago should be up by 2 or 3 touchdowns right now.
See, this is when the statistics sometimes don't back up the way the game is played. Of course, the Bears have 2 turnovers, and the Panthers only have 1. That has made up for those discrepancy in numbers.
Also, Stewart being thoroughly outplayed by Peyton. A strong performance from Peyton today, 21 for 106, statistically very good. We'll see if this results in points on this drive. In fact, they're not even going to give Jim McMahon a chance to touch the ball. How about a wildcat for the 85 Bears? And they'll go direct run with Peyton, and the Panthers are ready for it.
Yeah, I don't know why you run a wildcat offense like that. Walter Payton is a downhill runner, so he needs a fullback or blockers in front of him. Not so smart.
No one in front of Dennis McKinnon. Foot race to the end zone. Norman on pursuit. Touchdown, Chicago. We mentioned it, Dennis McKinnon, a speedster out wide, and that time he beat the man who had the interception, Charles Tillman. McKinnon with a brilliant play.
And there's not much better you can defend that by Tillman. He's a great player in and out of himself, but that's the spark you need in order to try to win this game if you're the Bears.
Extra point is good. 4:19 left. The Bears score their first points since the field goal from Butler early in the third quarter, and it just feels like a completely different game now with that quick score. Bozzy Whitaker taken down by Thomas Sanders. And now the Carolina Panthers, after a brilliant performance out of Newton going into this fourth quarter, they're going to need something, anything out of Jonathan Stewart, you would have to believe, to have a chance. Stewart, yet again bottled up. He gains about 2 in front of the Bears' Steve McMichael.
And at this point, the Bears have just been wrapping up Jonathan Stewart. He's been absolutely useless right now. You got to be passing it at this point.
It's amazing to see this defense completely eliminate one player from the field, Jonathan Stewart. About 1.5 yards a carry. They'll give it to Tolbert, a stiff arm. He gets to the edge. Tolbert near the first down. They'll bring in the chain game. Maybe that's how they keep the chains moving. They bring it to his backup, Tolbert, but he is just short of the first down. But who knows, Hank? Maybe they found something with Tolbert.
Possibly. I mean, it looked like he was going to be down in the backfield, broke a tackle, and is inches to the first down marker. I think that was called very nicely by the officials.
Right. Certainly generous. We've also seen in these playoff games, as Gentry brings it back to midfield, they've been playing very tight. The officials have called a lot of clipping and holding penalties throughout the playoffs. So far in the second half, now of course it's broadcaster's jinx, but we've seen these officials. Yes, there's the broadcaster's jinx. Of course there's a hold, Hank, right when I bring it up.
Yep, and very good timely as well. That'll put the Bears back about 10 yards. And that'll definitely help the Panthers, putting the Bears back to first and long.
They'll go run with Walter Payton, who has been a bell cow today. Tillman makes the stop. Payton, of course, coming in 9 games with over 100 yards, his 10th right here. And for Payton, in this stage of the game, 1 or 2 big runs could put them in a position to seal it. 2.5 minutes left. They've got the ball, but backed up to a 3rd and long. They need 14.
Well, if you're holding on your offensive line, that'll definitely give them a hole to gain more yardage.
Walter Payton bottled up by Kawan Short. Well, the Bears had a chance there to run out the clock. It would have been very tough from 1st and 19. Buford sends this one away to the electric Ted Ginn, down 3 late in the ball game. Ginn to the 30, and he's wrapped up at the 40-yard line. The Bears' Brian Cabral on the stop.
Very head-scratching point in time for your offense. Definitely would have expected a 3rd down pass.
Right. Newton with plenty of time guns it to Cotchery. It's a gain of 24 as Fensick makes the stop. Panthers run a no huddle. Cam Newton, a chance to be the hero, the quarterback that had his worst game of the year in the Super Bowl against Denver in 2015. This pass is incomplete. He has a chance to redeem himself here, and this would be some redemption against a defense like this. Already in field goal range, the Panthers have 2nd down. They'll go run with Tolbert, the fullback, who gains a couple.
Yep, I think the offensive coordinator for the Panthers listened to you, giving it to Tolbert.
Right, 2nd straight run. Newton looks, fires to Olsen. That's his first catch of the game. Singletary drops him. In fact, that is the Panthers' first 3rd down conversion of the football game. Newton hit as he throws to Stewart out of the backfield. Another tough short play from Stewart. Rivera makes the stop. Payton, a chance to win player of the game honors with how he has performed throughout. Newton slides. It's 3rd down coming up, Hank.
Yeah, I mean, this is a chance for the Panthers to do something and get a touchdown or a field goal at least. Just don't make any mistakes. Slow play this if you have to.
Looks like that's exactly what they're doing. Snap at 29 seconds.
Chicago isn't calling a timeout.
Right. Well, Olsen is tripped up to the 3, and it's the Panthers that use a timeout. My goodness. All the time is off the clock, and the Bears better be careful. A touchdown gives Carolina the lead.
The Panthers right now are in the driver's seat. You have 1st down inside the 5-yard line. Unless you're Kurt Warner against the Dallas Cowboys or John Elway against the you can't screw this up.
Yeah. Well, it looks like that's just what they did. Mike Remmers with the false start. It's John Elway against the Jags, by the way, Hank, if I'm not mistaken, that brutal playoff loss they had before going back-to-back. But Cam Newton, after the brutal loss against Denver in the Super Bowl, some performance on this drive especially. Artis Payne to the 2, no timeout, no huddle. The Panthers are already lined up. A touchdown would basically win the game. What drama here with 8 seconds to go, 7, 6. They won't run a play. Timeout, Carolina. That is perplexing.
Yeah, I mean, you have time to run one more play. The only thing that could hurt you is if you have a penalty, some time might come off the clock if the it's running. Kind of perplexing.
Well, Gano celebrating, and why wouldn't? It's a field goal to tie the game, and it looks like we're poised for overtime, Hank, as the Panthers put together a brilliant drive. They went 64 yards in a little over a minute, but they needed another 2 to win it. Instead, Galt could be the hero, or we're headed to overtime. Barring a penalty, this is it, and Galt's taken down. Overtime of the divisional round. We are tied at 24.
You know what I sometimes say, if you get the ball first in overtime, you usually win, especially pre-new overtime rules where a field goal can win you the game if you're the first team to get the ball.
Yep, sudden death, Hank, and now the Bears have got some fresh life. I'm sure many were anticipating the Panthers to run a play at the 2-yard line. Instead, Carolina settles for the field goal. Bortz with a false start, though, and this has been a common theme in the fourth quarter. Bears behind the chains already.
Inexcusable. You're the home team. You should not be false starting. I know the Panthers, they have a pretty good defensive line, but you can't false start like that. It's quiet.
Right. Peyton spins to the 20. I mean, really, the home teams are false starting in these playoffs way more than the road teams. It makes zero sense. Nevertheless, Chicago and Carolina, winner to play the 89 Niners. What a football game. Peyton is spun by Allen, and now the Bears, who have had a brilliant performance on third down, going 6 for 8 so far today. They need 13. McMahon looks, fires into traffic, and he is nearly picked off.
Oh, that game would have been over. Yeah, I mean, Josh Norman is seeing the end zone. I think that might have been why he dropped the ball, because probably got so excited, like, oh, I'm a free catch. Just kidding. It's kind of like when you shoot a ball in basketball and you turn around thinking, I got the basket, and it doinks off the rim.
Nick Young, my goodness, a Nick Young moment for Josh Norman. The Panthers, though, despite the drop, have a chance to win it right here. Handoff, Stewart, another short run, gain of 3.
And if I'm the Panthers are, like I said before, they are in the driver's seat here unless they turn the ball over.
Newton's going to throw it to Stewart. He breaks a tackle. His only big play of the day. He's out of the 27. How about 25 yards for Stewart in overtime? And the Panthers are in field goal range now.
You know, Jonathan Stewart hasn't done anything in this game. If there's one thing you can do is make a play in overtime to help your team out, even if you haven't done anything, even if you're the partner who doesn't do anything on the project, he's still got an A on that play.
Well, the Panthers might cap off one of the greatest school projects we've ever seen in the Dream Season Football League. A chance to knock out the vaunted, legendary 85 Bears in their building with a chance to the conference championship. And Ginn draws a face mask on Wilson. This is huge.
If we remember what happened on the first few drives where the Bears were able to get more of a chance to score a touchdown, it's the opposite here, except here you definitely can't let that happen, because the closer the Panthers are, the easier it's going to be for them to score.
They're going to kick the field goal right now. Gano for the win. The kick is good, and the 15 Panthers are on to the NFC Championship.
What a great comeback again by the Panthers. They did it the first week in the wild card round. They should be very proud of themselves here.
One of the greatest comebacks in NFL history. Down 14 on the road, the 15 Panthers with a brilliant second half knock out the heavily favored Bears in overtime. For the rest of our crew, Nick Rice and Hank Cinnamon, thanks for watching one of the great upsets of the year. It's the 15 Panthers, winners in overtime.
Hello, everyone, this is Hank with the PR52 YouTube channel. For the last 16 years, I've been rooting on the Eagles and posting videos on YouTube. I'm the best Eagles fan that there's ever been, and I'm always positive.
Oh my god, dude, that was such a stupid throw!
And I am such a nice guy, trust me, bro. If you'd like, I have a YouTube channel called PR52. 52 because that was the best Super Bowl year. That's being completely objective as well. I also have a podcast called Throwing Snowballs Podcast, where I talk about mostly the Philadelphia Eagles and other varying sports topics. I also operate a Tecmo Super Bowl simulation league called the Best Team Football League, or the BTFL, which takes players from the NFL and puts them together in order to gain the prize of who is the best team in history. Winner, of course, wins the Tecmo Best Bowl and is commented over by a wide variety of YouTubers and internet personalities in a sort of NFL primetime-esque highlight format. Excuse me, I'm recording right now. Oh, sorry. Oh.
Get off me!
Well, I hope you enjoy and check me out and subscribe to my videos. Oh, wait, sorry, recording. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling.